When looking at movies that were made in the past but set in present day of that time, it's compelling to see how the technology of the era informs what types of stories are told and what types of characters inhabit the world. Many modern pieces of technology could eliminate entire storylines.
But today, someone's got his number.
Yet because of the human emotions at the root of these stories, the good ones are still compelling even as the devices become antique. Whenever new technology is introduced to the world, it makes way for stories that couldn't have previously existed. One example of this is in photography itself, which has changed drastically even in the last 20 years.
That's a very nice camera.
Really? Because Will's been trying to get me to go digital, and
Oh, don't do that. I'd be out of a job.
Today, I want to look at two movies that are built around two specific eras in the history of still photography: 1 Hour Photo and Ingrid Goes West. With remarkably similar structures, both movies use the contemporary components of their time and with it create creepy characters who tap into our worst fears. 1 Hour Photo tells the story of Cy, a lonely photo developer at a big box department store. Through the photos, he learns quite a bit about his customers. The plot develops as we learn about his obsessive fascination with Nina and her family. His voyeurism is fueled by his ability to intimately watch their lives through hundreds of photographs. He begins to form a relationship with the family through seeing their images, hiding the degree of obsessiveness through which he's pursuing them. The film plays into a plausible fear of the era. In order to take photos, somebody who was usually a stranger had to develop them. What if they were a creep? Ingrid Goes West follows Ingrid, a woman suffering from depression who turns to Instagram for remedy and social feedback. Like a modern Cy, Ingrid uses other people's photos as a mechanism to get to know them. She starts to follow Taylor Sloan, and after Taylor replies to one of her messages, becomes #obsessed. Ingrid follows Taylor to Venice Beach to become her best friend. In the Instagram era full of aspiring influencers, Ingrid can absorb bountiful information based on the projection Taylor chooses to post online. The plot thickens when Ingrid actually meets Taylor and attempts to befriend her, with this secret that she not only has gained a treasure trove of data from her social media, but has also sculpted herself to be her perfect companion. At first, I thought the movies had no overlapping cast or crew, but it turns out one person did work on both. Johnny Gidcombe, who does ADR voice casting at Loop De Loop, is the sole overlapping team member. Thanks, IMDb. Anyway, there are some distinctive parallels that make the two projects compelling when viewed together. Both movies are rooted by the manipulative power of photography and how images create the illusion of knowing someone well. In both cases, the characters have intimate access to another person's life via their photos. Cy's stalking is quite direct. Nina is giving him the camera to develop, and they meet in person. Here, voyeurism is only available to a select few technicians. But for Ingrid, she doesn't even need to meet Taylor to learn everything she wants to know about her, because Taylor is posting all these photos online for the taking. And so this affects how they are received. When Cy begins to express that he feels like a family member, it's not embraced by Nina or Will. He fantasizes about a day as part of their family. Ingrid needs no such fantasy. She's invited in from the get-go because Taylor has no way to see what's really going on behind her phone. Cy and Ingrid both believe they know everything about their subjects and yearn for their perfect lives. And in each case, we see that the images don't show the darker challenges that the characters actually face. People in photographs are two-dimensional and therefore problem-free. Once they become real people in their lives, they turn out to be much more complicated. This is a viable lesson for the world of today. It's easy to get stuck browsing social media and feel inadequate, when the reality is that everyone posting has many more complicated problems that are omitted from their internet personas. A majority of the stylistic similarities are in how the characters and their worlds are introduced. Both utilize snapshot imagery at the beginning to root us in a photocentric world, and both feature similar character introductions. We meet both characters as criminals with unstable mental behavior, sharing their thoughts via voiceover.
Someone looking through our photo album would conclude that we had led a joyous, leisurely existence.
And I hope that someday you and I can, look back on all of this and laugh.
It's interesting that both movies choose to tell their stories from the stalker's point of view, which gives them a component of empathy. In many ways, these two protagonists are the very embodiment of the technology they possess. Sai is an archetypal one-hour photo developer. He is humble, mild-mannered, and talented at a unique skill that is on its way to being obsolete, akin to a film projectionist. And yet, he is not working at some high-end place, but a low-rent department store. Despite seeing his obsessive attention to detail with the photos, we find out he is an unreliable narrator. And as it turns out, he is not particularly good at maintaining this job. In scenes with his supervisor, he's reprimanded for recurring mistakes, most of which have to do with the stalking itself. Ingrid is also a perfect embodiment of her technology of choice, Instagram, which caters to young people who use it ceaselessly to compare themselves to others and feed on likes and comments for dopamine. Everyone on Instagram is an unreliable narrator. Anything posted, good or bad, goes through a curated filter. Both movies capture a moment in technological time and the worst nightmare of these devices. It's perhaps easier to look at 1 hour photo and feel distance from it, the same way we might from even older movies. Sai is a specific type of profession we could almost label as a boogeyman hiding in the shadows. You could watch this movie today and think, thank goodness I don't have to have strangers develop my pictures anymore. Yet Ingrid could be any one of us. We all have access to other people's lives, even strangers' lives, via the images they post on social media. The stalking behavior here makes us consider that perhaps every one of us has in some way become a Sai. We gather information about people and then use it to create an understanding, true or not, of who that person is. And then, like Ingrid, when we see people in real life, we have to be selective about how much information we know about them. I especially love that Harley, the character in the movie who we're told has the biggest Instagram following, is introduced wearing a stalker t-shirt. With every advancement in technology, there are new stories to be told that can hold a window up to our social behavior. Eventually the devices will go out of style, but the social commentary components will remain relevant. Technology is fleeting, but creepy characters are timeless. Even 3 years after its release, we are largely still inhabiting Ingrid's world, and it's up to us to decide on a daily basis how to navigate it. This video is sponsored by nobody. But if you're looking for a great place to learn how to edit yourself on any editing software, I teach editing via Wyzant, an online tutoring service where I meet with students remotely using screen sharing and can show you how to edit. Whether it's a quick video or a feature film, I've got you covered. Use my custom link and mention Hint of Film for a 20% discount. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.